You'd make your own games out of different things, like you'd take a ball or a frisbee or something.
There was no technology, it was just play, but you learnt so much from it.
Was it dangerous?
Some things were. Yeah. Got in the back of my brother's bikes, things like that, really naughty.
It was a solitary childhood. Telling me she bought me a pedal car, a little pedal car that I could sit in and would drive along. And I got in the box. I ignored the car and got in the box. The member is peering out the window solitary and seeing two guys, young people of my age, that I would love to have played with, and they had dug a hole in the ground and they covered it up with tin, and they had a den.
Just round the corner from the street was an old bomb site. It really was, in the early 50s, I suppose. Yeah. And we used to play on this old bomb site, and the things we used to find was incredible. And then they turned the whole thing into a car park, and we turned it into a football pitch.
We used to have different kind of plays, I would say, but we usually play on the streets because there were not many cars at that time. So I remember playing with the ball and with the other children. There is always something to discover, something new for her.
I remember the manor house because that's how we used to play on this bit of field and build dens in the trees and stuff like that. But we'd dare each other to go in the house. We'd go in the gardens, but it's like, no, mate, you know.
Well, when I was a child, for say 6 or 7 or 8 years of age, we had sticks. And we had dikes in the Netherlands. So you run with your stick and you plonk that in the middle of the dike. So you run with the sticks as fast as you could, plunge it in the dike, and that smacked the dike. Sometimes you had it wrong, of course, and then you was bad. You collected wheels from a pram. You make a little box from it, and then a little bit of rope. So you could steer the thing. They put wooden blocks on the pedals. So the bicycle, father went to work with it. When he comes back, my sister could have a go on the bike because the wooden blocks were on it. And that is how we more or less played. We did not have anything else.
With my mother and father, we played games because we had no television. We had one radio that we used to like tiddlywinks and things like that. But my mother didn't play with us, my father did. My mother was knitting. She didn't stop knitting.
There were lots of animals around, lots of people. I suppose the exciting, I mean, the thing that we could do that you couldn't do now is it was safe to go into the fields, and they had a stream running through the land. So we used to go fishing with jars. Used to go for rides on carts and tractors. One of my best memories actually is going with this elderly lady who lived down the road. She'd take me and the others, and we'd go digging the potatoes in the middle of the day. That was quite exciting. People would be milking cows and they'd be singing and they'd be whistling, you know. So just a totally different scene. Went to the seaside and loved looking on the rocks for shellfish, you know, and we'd have all the other children with us. And we'd stop the river so that we could swim. They got salt to make the water salty. You know, that sort of thing. We got together with other children for everything. You know, but everything was something we made ourselves.
That was a good thing I used to like as a kid, because we'd all get round a little campfire. Back then we could have little campfires. It was very creative as well, so we'd get us into doing things outdoors. I was having a tractor tyre once, and we 2 or 3 of us were climbing it, and we'd roll down hills in these tractors. That was our version of fun. Tiggy, Chinese skipping with an elastic.
So we used to stand in the middle of the road playing skipping ropes, bulldog, Kirby, yeah.
Along the seafront, collecting rocks and pebbles, and you don't need nothing else when you're out there in nature.
I was actually still like drawing and actually trying to make my own stories up.
We would go winter. We would go skiing just on the river. We didn't have many toys, but we would play. I don't know, in the bushes. We will make look like a house. We would sell the fruits like, you know, a little shop. We would put the prices and we would sell strawberries, or we would go swimming, yeah, or even to the next, you know, close to the river.
the assault courses in the army barracks. We used to go where we shouldn't go, where they do all the assault courses.
Okay. Would you not be chased off?
Yeah, but that'd be part of the fun, wouldn't it?
Sitting around on the rocks, just talking about anything, what came into your head, but using that as a, joining thing. What's the word? You were just saying, weren't it? Using it with your hands. Your hands are doing something. Occupy your hands.
So the talk just happens.
Yeah, but you can still say that flow makes the conversation flow. And it was absolutely superb. And like she knew that, so she's learned, taking it all in.
Yeah.
And I'm finding that a lot of the young ones are enjoying this.
Yes.
You know, because it's not pushed down their throats like it is at school. They're learning in their own time, in their own pace, and it's all going in, sinking in.
They just make it really fun here to just do, and if you're like bored or anything, you can just come here and play.
It does give you more joy.
Ah, do you?
Yeah. They try and make it fun for you.
Yeah.
It's just like, they just want children to be happy.
Yeah.
And they join in with your game sometimes, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like there's people here to help you around and everything.
Like if you're lonely, people like come and say, "Oh, what's up?" and that.
And you get more friends here.
Do you?
Yeah,
you meet new people.